Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Lamborghini Terzo Millennio at Golden Max in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. Here you can see the stats with all upgrades and epic import parts supplied. Thank you to Rev Chaudhry for these races. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and enjoy the video. So I made a couple of videos about this car quite a while back at this point. One about my Terzo at 3 stars, which I am currently using in the Terzo season that is going on. And that's the reason why I figured this would be a good time to make a video about this car. I think I also made one at 5 stars, and people have been asking me ever since for a 6-star review of this car, so here you go. These races were not recorded in the Terzo season, presumably to give a better variety of cars overall, but we can still see how this car performs at complete max, which is something that I have not actually seen yet so far on YouTube. The Terzo goes 255 miles per hour at max, which is smack dab in the middle of Class S, probably the most average speed you will find in Class S for Class S, if you know what I mean. And you could say that about this car overall. For S-Class, it is very decidedly average. It's set right in the middle. It doesn't have any particularly exceptional, nor any particularly poor qualities. If I had to choose its biggest strength, I would probably say its acceleration, which is above average at 82.7. Still though, as you can see, not great compared to plenty of 83 and 84 plus cars that are already in the game. Its top speed probably is also a good contender for its best strength, but really nothing about it stands out a whole lot. Its acceleration, handling, and drifting are all fine, as you can see in these races, but overall, it's honestly a rather unremarkable car that is fine enough to drive. You could kind of think of it as the Zero Uno or something of Class S, although it is obviously better in its class than the Zero Uno is in B. It has that same feel of, why is this in the game? Why is this here? What's the point? What's the use? Because you never really will use this car much of anywhere. It's probably going to be one of the least used cars in Class S. And the Terzo season is very dead. I'm only in the second league actually right now because I've been playing a lot of this car's races in the special event, but I'm still at like 200 position around. Now granted, this is on Windows. If you're at that rating, you'd be at a lower position on iOS or Android. But still, this just goes to show that not a whole lot of people really tried super hard to get this car in the special event, which I don't remember to be particularly easy or difficult. I think it was the first special event which had the Caribbean in it, but that's really the only thing I can remember about it. So overall, people just aren't really excited about this car. But there was at least enough interest for people to request me to showcase this car at its maximum performance, and now I believe I have made at least one video with every S-Class car in the game at its maximum stars, which is pretty cool, and that's something I want to do for all classes as much as possible. Because I think it would be really cool to get to the point where if you wanted to find a review of any car in the game, you could search it up on my channel and find a review at its maximum performance. For those of you asking about the J50 review, which has been a long time coming, that one is coming out pretty soon as well. So do not fear, I'm still making my way through those older cars that I may not have done fully maxed out reviews of yet. So we're coming near the end of this race, and one thing I've noticed about the races so far in this video were that there has been a surprising lack of other S-Class cars. I've seen Huayras and Corvettes and even Vandas and cars like that, but not really any S-Class ones. Is that more of a thing that happens on mobile? Because on Windows, I remember when I've gotten to Legend League in the past, there's usually been at least a couple of Iconas or FXXKs or something in each race. Oh, and now we get a Bugatti Chiron. That's nice. So in my stream this past weekend, which you should go see if you haven't seen it yet, many people asked if I was going to open packs for the Cyan, and I decided not to because I still had some left in the special event. Well, after the stream ended, I realized I'm not actually going to be able to get any more blueprints in it, because the only day that was left before the days for the Cyan was for the Gallardo, and I'm not going to say Huracan accidentally like I have so many times in previous videos. I do not know why, but I get those cars confused so much. Packs have come out for the Gallardo, but only if you already own the car. I should be making a video soon about that car, by the way. Not my races though, because I don't have the car because I didn't buy the Legend Pass, and that leads me to why I'm not going to be able to get any more tokens in the special special event other than what I had in the stream for the Cyan. Now, I did spend, honestly, the rest of my tokens, 6,000, in order to get, I think, 38, 39 more blueprints, which was poor drop rates, but that seems to be my luck nowadays. I haven't gotten a jackpot for a good car in quite a while at this point. So I have unlocked the Cyan, and of course I'm going to try to do my best with the SC18 as well, but I have no idea whether I'm actually going to be able to win that car or not, but we'll see. In my video about winning the Jesko, I asked people if they would be interested in seeing me testing that car at 3 stars, because I've already made videos about it at 6 stars before, but not my races, and it seems like a lot of you guys want to see that, so if I'm able to make it to Legend League without getting bored out of my mind, I will definitely try to make one of those. And the reason why I haven't done that with a lot of cars in the past that have had free try max multiplayer events, like say the Veneno for example, even after I got it at 1 star, was because I figured that once people saw the car at its max performance, they wouldn't really care much about seeing it at a lower performance, but I can see how it would still be appealing even after that to see how the car performs in perhaps a almost more real feeling setting than a max free try multiplayer event, which likely will not come again for that same car. So yes, I have finally begun to understand that, and who knows, I might do that for some more cars in the past that I never did that with. I can think of the Veneno exactly, for example, but who knows, there's a few that I could do. Now we're moving on to a race on Osaka, in which we have a few more S-Class cars, namely a Jesko actually, and an Icona. And I know some people are curious who won the Jesko at lower stars if it's worth using that car in multiplayer over something like a 5-star Icona or Lycan, or a car that is much higher stars but is not nearly as fast, because the Jesko, even at 1 star, goes well over 300 miles per hour, even without nitro, I think. So you might think that would be an obvious choice, obviously go for the Jesko, but it's not entirely so clear as that. I'm sure you've seen in the multiplayer season a while back, where we got to drive the Jesko at fully max, that even there, it wasn't the easiest car to keep up at its maximum speed, at least compared to cars like the Rimac, for example. And at 1 stars, yes, while it is very fast, you have to actually keep it up at that speed. And its nitro efficiency and its acceleration will probably not be able to sustain the Jesko's high top speed as well as a lot of people might like. So my advice is, if you do know how to drive that car well and can keep it at a higher speed, then yes, it would probably be a good one to take out. But if you struggle at that, honestly, I would just recommend sticking to a car like the Icona or whatever that might not be as fast, but it's at least easier to keep at its maximum speed of 240 or whatever. Because you'll see a lot of Jeskos in multiplayer in Legend League probably not doing as well as you expected they might be for the king of the game, and that mainly comes from people just not knowing how to take advantage of its full speed. And a lot of this is based on tracks as well. Like I've said in previous videos, if Gameloft wants cars like the Jesko to be more used in multiplayer, and other cars, honestly, that have really high top speeds as well, and to stop having cars like the Huracan used all the time, it would be a very good idea for them to add more top speed oriented tracks, because the ones we've got recently, Caribbean and Osaka, are very twisty and geared toward a lot of the more handling oriented cars. And yes, the Jesko does drift extremely well. That is one of its biggest strengths, so it still has that going for it on twistier tracks, which is why I think really overall the Jesko is still the king of the game for multiplayer if you're able to max it out and you have learned how to keep it at a higher speed. And now for the final race in the video, which is against an Icona, as we can see here. And while these races weren't recorded in the Terzo multiplayer season, one of my favorite things about the Terzo multiplayer season is that it is completely ghosting throughout the entire race, and not just the first 10 seconds like in Rush and in most other ones. Not a lot of people have mentioned that, at least that I've seen. And you know what's funny? I didn't even notice it until several races in. I guess I just hadn't gone through many cars except in the first 5 seconds or so of the race. But it's nice that Gameloft decided to give that a shot and has begun to continue doing it every so often, because I know at first they were very hesitant to do it because they were afraid it would be just like racing people's event times and all, but you still get the sense of racing other people in multiplayer more so than just in events. Now it's time for my general review of this car. It is a pretty average S-Class car all around, and honestly, there's not a whole lot more I have to say about it. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Rev Chaudhry for these races. Please like the video if you've enjoyed and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!